We're going to do an analysis on the body language of Thomas Shelby from Peaky Blinders. Let's begin. Fellas, the first thing I want you to observe is Thomas's walk. Why? Because Thomas does what we call a high status walk. Now, why is this important? Because if you get your walk right, this is what generates the first impressions. We have to get these right. So I'm going to take you back and point out the traits of the high status walk that Tommy uses. So fellas, the first thing you'll notice is Tommy's shoulders flow freely forwards and backwards, right? That's the first trait, smooth shoulder movement. The second thing you'll notice is his arms. They swing back quite a lot. So the next thing is free swinging arms. And the third and fourth point sort of go together. The third is you want to hold your head high, right? So you want to expose your neck. And the fourth, fellas, is you want your eyes fixed on one position. You want to know exactly where you're walking. I'm going to give you a bonus tip as it comes to when you're walking. Generally, the leader of the interaction will be walking a few steps forward. This is a tip you can use, fellas. Walk a few steps forward of other people.
You armed?
Yeah. Yeah.
You please consider putting your weapons behind the bar in case feelings...
Fellas, I want to point out how Tommy's seated or standing here. And we're going to come back to this later because it's very important.
...begin to run high.
Behind the bar, pal, why?
So if you'll notice, fellas, where is Tommy looking? He's not looking at Polly. He's looking away, right? Why is this important? High status men tend to limit the attention they give to other people. Why? Because the less attention you give to other people, the more rare it is. When you limit your attention in the form of your eye contact, just like Tommy is here, you signal to other people that you must earn my attention. You do not get it for free.
You're on my own bar, yeah? I prefer it there.
Thomas.
This is a very important tip. Unreactivity. Let me show you this.
Thomas.
So about 2 to 3 seconds have passed after Polly has said Thomas's name. He stayed completely unreactive for that time. Now, unreactivity is an alpha trait, right? It's a high status trait. Why? Because the default human response after experiencing stimulus is to respond immediately. It takes emotional mastery to contain yourself and delay your reaction. So being unreactive, slowing your reaction speed is extremely attractive, extremely high status.
I had a dream about a black cat last night, Paul. A black cat dream means there is a traitor close by. It was you who taught me that.
Fellas, I want you to pay attention to the way Tommy speaks. He leaves pauses. Let's just listen again, right?
Dream means there is a traitor close by. It was you who taught me that.
Black cat can mean lots of things. It can mean you're hurting yourself, betraying yourself. Are you seeing things, Thomas?
Yes, I am.
Fellas, the reason why pauses are so important are because when you speak and you leave slow, or not slow, but subtle pauses in between your words, in between your sentences, you signal to other people that you are the leader in the interaction. Why? Because you are deliberately slowing down what you are saying. You are setting the pace of the interaction. So take pauses in between the way you speak.
Yes, I am, very clearly. Coming from every fucking direction.
What I want you to notice, fellas, as well is, and we're going to get back to this later, but Polly's looking at Tommy, Arthur's looking at Tommy, and Tommy was looking away, right? If you want to know who the highest ranking person in the room is, look where other people place their attention. the highest status man in the room will receive the most attention.
Tommy, I'd like to introduce you to my wife.
This is a really interesting cluster from Michael here, and I'm going to break this down for you, right? So there's a number of submissive cues that Michael uses here, right? The first is, if we just take it back a few frames, watch. He turns his head and looks at his wife, right? He's looking at her for her approval, right? So you can sort of tell who's the dominant one in this scenario, right? He's looking at her for her approval, right? Whereas she just looks forward, doesn't give him any attention. Then he makes eye contact with Tommy.
Tommy.
And then he breaks eye contact down, right? Extremely submissive. Or on the other foot, I mean, look at Gina. She's holding strong eye contact with Tommy, right? Exactly what you should do in this scenario. Whereas Michael has broken eye contact downwards, which is submissive.
I'd like to introduce you to my wife.
And also the final thing I want to point out is look at the amount of movement on Michael.
I would also like to say something. Sit down, Michael.
Right, if we just take them back. The reason I'm getting... You might be thinking, Force, why on earth are you getting so granular on these tiny details? Well, the reason is, fellas, all these tiny body language cues, A, if you know them, you can read them, you can know what people are actually thinking. But B, we pick up on these cues subconsciously, and they cause us to think certain things about people. So it's important you get them right.
I'd like to introduce you to my wife.
Again, look at all the movement. Right, then he goes into what we call the fig leaf position, right? This is one of the most submissive, most fearful, most anxious positions you can do. This is a position you want to avoid, right? It's because you're protecting one of the vital organs here. Obviously, she's doing it as well, but we do this when we're extremely nervous, extremely submissive.
I would also...
And then again, he breaks eye contact downwards, whereas his fucking wife is holding strong eye contact with Tommy.
also like to say something. Sit down, Michael.
And then Tommy, we go back, strong eye contact. This is excellent, by the way. Then issues a command.
I betrayed you,
Michael.
but only in my heart. There was a time in America, and there was a lot of money in that bank.
Again, if we just go back 5 seconds, we just pay attention to Michael's movement.
There was a time in America, and there was a lot of money in that bank.
You want to avoid doing what Michael's doing there. You instead want to replicate Tommy, because high-ranking men, fellas, they tend to move significantly less than other people.
I wondered I could leave, move to California. Someone said I should invest in pictures. Hollywood.
There's quite a lot to pick up here. So the first thing I want to point out, fellas, is Tommy is not looking at him. Tommy's looking not at him, right? He's not giving him his attention, whereas Michael, Gina, they're looking at Tommy. Again, this is signaling to them, you have to earn my attention. My attention is rare. I'm on a mission. I have a purpose. I've got shit to do. My attention is limited. You do not get it for free. This is a very, very powerful tactic you can use in your life, literally tomorrow.
Moved to California. Someone said I should invest in pictures. Hollywood.
Pay attention to Arthur here, right? This body language cluster is of contempt, of disgust, right? Let me show you. Let's go back a few frames.
Good.
Right, this is called a sneer, right? If we play it, and you can see a slight smirk there as well, right? He basically thinks Michael is a piece of shit.
But Gina stopped me. Gina said that I told you to...
And again, he breaks eye contact down. He looks at her for approval, whereas he's moving. You can tell who's the higher ranking one, right, out of these two. It's obviously her.
Sit down, Michael.
Whereas Tommy is completely unmoving.
tell me what happened on that ship in Belfast Harbour?
On the journey back from New York, we got married. But we needed to find a witness, a purser. He was from Belfast. We got friendly.
What happened when the ship docked?
This purser had friends.
Again, fellas, you can see in Tommy's face, totally unreactive, looks completely calm, looks completely relaxed. Nothing is bothering him. At this point, he's giving strong eye contact. Tommy is using something we call the power gaze. Right, and if we just go a few frames forward and look at how Michael reacts.
What happened when the ship docked?
This purser.
Again, Michael breaks eye contact downwards, and this is due to Tommy using the power gaze. Let me walk you through this. So the power gaze, what is it? Well, it's effectively, fellas, when you stare at someone deep into their souls, into their eyes, you keep your eyes focused on their eyes and you do not blink, and you hold that attention there. Again, disclaimer, do not use this in normal social scenarios. Only use this if you want to intimidate another person or you're in conflict, because this produces a very strong fear response when used. So use it sparingly.
We got friendly.
What happened when the ship docked?
This purser had friends who ran a whiskey distillery in County Tyrone. They wanted a way of getting their stuff into America, so I said, okay, invite them aboard. When they came in, I realised that they didn't make whiskey. They were Scottish, from Glasgow. Couldn't understand a fucking word they were saying. They started swearing, so I asked Gina to leave. That was when they started talking about you, Tom. They said that Tommy Shelby was a spent force. The politics had got to him. That he was spent in the head. That now was a good time to move in, and did I want to be a part of it? They knew about the money we lost in America. They said that you were going to blame me.
Again, if we just take a look at the difference between Tommy's body language and Michael's body language, it's a complete fucking night and day difference, right? And I said I was going to get back to this. We saw earlier, right? Tommy is making himself appear as large as reasonably possible, right? Whereas Michael is making himself appear as small as possible. For example, right? He's using blocking body language, right? He's making himself small. His legs are crossed, right? Whereas on the other hand, if we go a little bit back, we obviously can't see the full thing here, but
A way of getting their stuff into America, make whiskey.
You can sort of see it here, right? Whereas Tommy has his arms draped over the bar, and he's got open body language. He's not crossed, right? Everything is open, and that's going to signal fearlessness and confidence, basically, fellas.
They started swearing, so I asked Gina to leave. That Tommy Shelby was a spent force. The politics had got to him. That he was spent in the head. That now was a good time to move in, and did I want to be a part of it? They knew about the money we lost in America. They said that you were going to blame me. That you had a bullet with my name on it.
What did you say, Michael?
I didn't have time to say anything. Coppers came on board. Well, I thought they were coppers.
They were IRA.
And then you can see there, Tommy raises his eyebrows, right, to emphasize his point, or to show in sort of shock. Obviously, he knows who they are, right?
Exactly.
And the first men from Glasgow.
The IRA commander said the men from Glasgow were called Billy Boys.
Fucking Billy Boys.
I don't know who the fuck Billy Boys are.
They run every man.
And then again, fellas, if you look at Tommy, he's removed his attention now that he's done speaking. Right, I will repeat this 100 times because it is so important. High status men limit the attention they give. Their attention is hard to earn.
In every coal mine on every shipyard east of Glasgow. Ties with Belfast. UVF.
Whereas Michael,
Protestant Razor Gang.
his attention is
They also dabble in politics. You know, muscle for fascist rallies.
But you did no deal, Michael. You didn't even know who they were.
I was too busy looking forward to giving you the good news. The reason Gina and I got married on the ship was because Gina is pregnant. You're going to be a grandmother.
Again, what I find funny is obviously Polly is Michael's mum, and once Michael gives her the news, the first thing she does is look at Tommy for approval, right? Look where everyone is pointing to, right? Or looking at. I'll give you another advanced tactic. Pay attention to the direction of people's bodies. Where are they pointing, right? They're all pointing to Tommy, okay? Whereas Tommy is pointing forward, right? Again, limiting the attention he's giving.
Okay, Michael. I believe you. Welcome home. Congratulations. Just remember, your unborn child has witnessed what you said.
Tom.
Again, I just want to point this out because it's so good. How Tommy takes pauses in between what he says. He takes his time. Remember, high-ranking men move slower than other people, right? They have slow, smooth, buttery movement. Everything they do is slow, smooth, and controlled.
Us.
And it will be born according to...
Where the fuck are you going? You fucking mad?
This scene is brilliant. Let me take you through it.
You fucking... Where the fuck are you?
And again, Tommy, literally zero reaction. Nothing. Doesn't even move. Doesn't even take a deep breath. Right, and obviously, Michael's extremely agitated here.
You going? You fucking...
This is great for Martha as well, right? He's using the power gaze on Michael now, right? He's got squinted eyes. He's not blinking. Completely fixated on Michael, right? Looking down at him slightly. Brilliant. See, like I said, no blinking. Then you can see Michael is in shock here, right? And the reason I know he's in shock, he can't believe what he's hearing, is because his eyes are wide open, right? He looks like what we call a deer in headlights, right? Wide open eyes, slightly open mouth. His nostrils are flared, right? This is because he's trying to get more oxygen in his body because he's undergoing the fight, flight, freeze reaction. And his eyes are wide because he's shocked, right?
You are free
Then you can see clenched jaw, right? He's extremely frustrated.
to fucking leave, Michael.
You fucking bastard.
But you're not free, Michael, are you?
And I think this is brilliant from Tommy, right? Sort of showing a bit of contempt here, right? How, well, he's raising his head, right? When you raise your head, when you raise your chin, you expose more of your neck. Your neck is the most vulnerable part of your body. So when you expose it, it signals arrogance and confidence. What he's basically signaling to Michael is, I fear you so little that I'm going to expose one of the most vital parts of my body to you. Because I am zero fear around you. Great from Tommy. This is exactly how you this is exactly how you deal with an aggressor. You want to make the prospect of war with you seem hopeless. And you do that by, when they show aggression towards you, you stay completely calm, you're completely unreactive. Just like Tommy is here. That is going to get in Michael's head.
You lost this company a lot of money. I told you to sell. But you held on. And now, I want you to pay me back what you owe me. There is work you can do, there are risks you can take. We were close before. Now, I want you closer still.
Michael, honey.
And again, you can see there, fellas, Michael's playing with the inside of his mouth with his tongue, right? Which is, again, a self-soothing behaviour. He's trying to calm himself down effectively.
Look at your cousin. He's in trouble, huh? He needs you. Come on, baby.
And again, a woman like this is one you want to stay far away from, right? She's a classic manipulator. But how do you deal with women like this? Well, let's just look at Tommy again.
Let's go.
Right, no reaction. No reaction, because that is what she's looking for. She's looking for an ounce of weakness, an ounce of emotionality. So the way you get around women who are going to constantly test you, constantly trying to make you emotional, constantly trying to manipulate you, is by showing no reaction. If you show no reaction, they have no information. And eventually what will happen is, fellas, they'll get bored of trying with you. They just won't test you anymore because they know the reaction they're going to get. They've tried so many times to make you emotional. You've never reacted once. You're not going to do it today. Very powerful stuff to use in your own life. Then once they leave, fellas, Tommy finally moves, takes a pull of his cigarette.
Fucking cheek of her, eh? Mad Dog Jimmy. Going south.
Not so mad anymore. He's got friends in high places these days. Black cat dream is never wrong, brother.
And again, Tommy's obviously limited his eye contact with Arthur the whole time. Then when he finally gives it, he combines it with a pointing body language cue to emphasize his point. This is brilliant. So if we look, obviously he's limiting his eye contact, whatever. Go
Jimmy.
forward. Not looking at him.
Not so mad anymore. He's got friends in high places these days.
Then when he wants to make his point,
Black cat dream is never wrong, brother.
right, then he pauses to emphasize the point while pointing. This is fucking brilliant. Fellas, that was the body language analysis. I hope you got some useful stuff you could take from that, because if you apply this stuff to your life, you will see noticeable difference in the way people treat you. Fellas, if you want access to the advanced body language tactics to become irresistible to women, to make men respect, admire, and maybe even fear you, click the top link in the description and watch the video on that page, because on that page, in that video, I will give you a step-by-step full inside look at my scientifically proven dating and attraction system. So if you want to make men respect and admire you, if you want women to be biologically obsessed with you, watch the video and then fill in your information on that page and schedule a call with a member of my team. And what will happen on your call is the member of my team will give you a full inside look, a full try before you buy of my system, so you can see it. And if you like it, you can then try and move ahead if you want to. And if you don't like the look of it, no sweat. Fellas, I will see you in the next video.